Welcome to Holding Shot, a Bowls WA podcast featuring the biggest names and their stories from the greens around Western Australia.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of Holding Shot here. My name's Aaron Clark. I'm a marketing officer at Bowls WA. I'm joined by Peter Harris.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm very well.
Good.
Looking forward to this.
Yeah, very good. So just tell us a bit about yourself, Peter. I'm sure people know who you are.
No, I'm too old for that now. So within Bowls WA, obviously look after the events and a bit of talent development, which is the high performance kind of areas, and
Yeah, I've been in Bowls
it's
for a long
not
time.
a big office, so we cover each other quite often. So that's why I'm here with you.
Yeah.
So looking forward. I'm just yourself.
Brilliant. I'm obviously new to Bowls.
Yes.
Haven't played Bowls, so I'm learning a lot about it. And just learning more about the sport itself, how complex it actually is, from the stereotype that I get coming into it from the outside. But enough about me. We've got a fantastic guest with us today. We've got Kristina Krstic, gold medalist from the Commonwealth Games. So welcome, how are you?
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I feel very special to be the first one on this podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So fantastic. I'm sure you're absolutely so happy with the win there. Tell me, have you calmed down from it, or is it still kind of beating in your chest, and how excited you are?
That question I get a lot, even to this day. So yeah, it took a while to come down for it from the high, I guess. Took a good few months. I guess I just relived that feeling over and over again, watching Ellen's last bowl, if anyone hasn't seen it.
So how many times have you watched the replay?
Oh, too many. Yeah, I've got the little snippet on my phone, and sometimes before I go to bed, I'll rewatch it, and I just get that feeling inside. It's just, something that I can't explain, that I've never felt before, and I get quite emotional when I speak about it again, So really special thing. The biggest thing I've ever achieved in my life, and alongside with my best friend, made it all that more special.
Yeah, perfect. Couldn't read it any better, really. Is there any goals from that point onwards? Do you have anything that you want to aim towards?
I guess I don't want to say I'm getting old. I'm 28 now. But I think I'm just going to take 1 year at a time, and obviously my biggest goal at the moment post-Com Games is World Bowls, which is coming up this year in August. So the team for that will be selected in March. End of March, beginning of April. So we've still got 2 trials left. That's, I guess they were always my 2 big dreams growing up as a kid playing bowls, was to play in the Commonwealth Games and World Bowls, and hopefully I can achieve that. And I guess the next Com Games is only 3.5 years away, so it's not that far away really, but we'll see what happens in that time. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I imagine. That's brilliant.
Okay, well, we're going to come back to this, because this is obviously, I think, the place we should end as well. We started there, and we're going to go back to your childhood. We're going to learn all about Kristina Krstic. Yes. I'm sure there's plenty of things out there people would love to know about you. Full name? What's your full name? You got a middle name?
I don't know. Serbians
No.
don't really tend to have a middle name. Both my parents are Serbian.
Yeah.
So it's Kristina Krstic.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't try.
Completely butchered that.
No, we're going to stick to the Australian way.
Yeah, Kristina Krstic. Yeah.
So we'll leave that for you and anyone else out there who wants to try that when they meet you.
Yeah.
To
The Slavs,
introduce
all the
themselves
Slavs know how
properly.
to say it properly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Serbian background,
Mhm.
born in Australia.
Yeah, born in Perth. Yeah.
Yep. But I'm sure obviously traditions. I know you do go back to Serbia, or you go to Serbia.
Yes.
Family and friends. You went there after the Commonwealth Games.
I did, yeah. I was lucky enough to be able to schedule in, I think it was 5 days after the Com Games, and visited my family in Serbia. My grandfather was there. A lot of my cousins, aunties, uncles, my family is huge. Anyone who's Serbian or Macedonian or Croatian knows how big our families are. So most of them are over there. And I still do carry on traditions back home. I guess we follow the Orthodox religion, so we just celebrated our Serbian Orthodox Christmas on Saturday. So I'm very lucky I get 2 Christmases every year. And obviously, we have Easter on a different day, and little things like that.
And I think I've talked to you about it before. Big celebrations, traditional like marriages and things, and not just walking down the aisle.
You would love to go to a
No, I
Serbian
wouldn't. I
wedding.
can tell you, I wouldn't. So, what are some of the things you want? They go for days, don't they?
Oh no, they're only one day.
Only one day.
But
Just
they're very
seems like
big.
days.
Yeah, like over 200-300 guests. Mind you, I won't be doing that
300.
when I get married one day. You know, the grooms are shotting rakia, which is that pure, you know, they make apricot. It's not a vodka. It's like I can't even remember what it is, but it's a really strong alcoholic drink, and it's just all about being merry, eating lots of food, dancing, having fun, and
it's not all about the bride and groom. It's about the whole.
About
whole
the family,
the whole
and,
support staff and all that.
You know,
stuff.
I tell you something interesting. When I was a kid, as sad as it is now that I look back, I was actually embarrassed, you know, of some of my cultural differences. And, you know, as a kid, you just want to be the same as everyone else. So, you know, my mum would give me Serbian food to take for lunch at school. I was like, if anyone's seen Wog Boy when he comes to school with, you know, this spread of meats and everything, that was me when I went to school. So I was always a little bit embarrassed. I just wanted to have a Vegemite sandwich or something like everyone else. But now that I'm older, I'm so grateful, you know, that I can speak the language. I speak fluent Serbian, but, you know, that I have, you know, these special cultural things that I still carry now, and I'm really proud of that.
Very good. So, as a child growing up, were you a talkative child? Slightly shy? How were you as a going to school or before school?
Yeah, I was talkative. You know, I had a lot of friends in school. I played sports. I was quite active. I've always had that, I guess, little bit of lack of confidence, even when I was a child. But yeah, I think, just a general thing that kids do. Yeah, I was an only child, so I didn't have any siblings. So grew up with primarily living with my mum and seeing my dad on the weekends. So my parents separated when I was quite little. And I had my dog, Rani, who lived for 17 years. She was like my sister. She was my sibling that I never had.
So you say quite active when you're in your childhood. What sports did you play?
So I play tennis. I played tennis from the age of maybe 8, probably for 2, 3, 4 years. I can't quite remember. And I also played 10-pin bowling. So I used to go with Dad on a Sunday and play Sunday League.
You and Helen Morse could get together.
Yeah. Oh, she's got a better technique than I do. She is that on her drive.
Yeah, exactly. You can see where that comes from.
Yeah. And I loved that. So I played both at the same time. So what else did I play? Volleyball in high school. I really enjoyed that. I actually wish I started that a little bit earlier. I feel like volleyball's the kind of sport you can't pick up late high school years.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think maybe I could have had potential if I started earlier. I really enjoyed it.
There's no gold medals in volleyball.
Well, I don't have any gold medals. No. Maybe I don't know. But I always wanted to pursue, you know, go far in a sport.
Yeah. Sport was
from year 1.
Yeah.
I remember writing in we had a little worksheet, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I remember writing, I wanted to be a professional tennis player because I was playing tennis at the time. So I always loved sport.
Yeah, I saw online that you said you wanted to be a professional tennis player. So tell us a bit about the transition. How did you go from that tennis player to lawn bowls?
Well, it's a funny story. My poor mother, who was working her bottom dollar to pay for my private lessons, which back then, you know, 20 years ago, $50 for an hour, which was a lot back then. God knows what they cost now. But I remember playing, and I remember just losing. There was no fun in it. My coach, yes, he was very good, but as an 8-year-old, you want someone who's going to make it fun and enjoyable. And I didn't feel that. He was quite strict with me, and, you know, I guess I felt that pressure. And one day, Dad took me along to Osborne Park Bowling Club, where my uncle Alex used to run. He was manager of the bar. He's now at North Beach Bowling Club. So my dad used to go there regularly, socially, for a drink, play some social bowls. And once he took me and we had a go, and he showed me how to play, and I loved it. And it was something that him and I could do together. which made it more special. And one day, and I remember I would always tell my dad, I don't want to play tennis anymore, but I was too scared to tell my mum. She'd be upset, she'd put all this money towards it. I think she wanted me to be the next Novak Djokovic. And I remember saying to my mum one day, I don't want to play tennis anymore. And to be honest, she was fuming. What do you mean you don't want to play anymore? I thought you loved it. And yeah, so anyway, she came to terms with it, and she obviously wanted me to do what I enjoy and what I love. And yeah, then I stopped playing tennis and transitioned into bowls. So I would have been 10, so maybe I did start tennis a bit earlier, maybe 7.
Yep.
Yeah. So 10 years old, yeah.
Playing, I think, juniors at 12, a couple of years later?
I think so,
Something like that?
Yeah. I think I quickly transitioned into the junior program, but
Yes.
I didn't make the state team for a couple of years because it was really strong back when I started.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
It's like back in my day, it was really much stronger.
Yeah,
Of course it was.
Yeah. We had Sinead with the Sollies, Melissa and Nat.
Yes.
We had Kelly Ray, Jessica, Moyle.
Yep.
A lot of strong
Well, even coming through, still
juniors. Yeah.
coming through, you came through obviously with Shell Cole and and I think Elizabeth Ellen's a little bit younger than you, but she I think she did win a singles while you were there.
She did, yeah.
So yeah, really strong period.
Yeah.
Did that drive you having those stronger juniors around, which I think at the moment when we look at our junior programs, there's just not enough of them to keep maybe them interested because they're not playing with people their own age. Did that help you?
That's the key to me continuing bowls, I guess, and that's what I tell everyone. As much as I loved all the older women and men that I guess they were all like my grandmas and grandpas at Osborne Park Bowling Club where I first started. The kids, you need someone your own age to relate to and play with and have fun with, and that's definitely what kept me in it. And I looked up to those girls, and I wanted to be like them, and I wanted to be in that state team with them. Yeah. So that's one thing I suppose we're looking at now with people around. You've got Blake Butler doing juniors, and Kelly Ray's really getting into that kind of stuff. And there are plenty of programs going on. We're just not getting them to transition into bowling clubs, which is understandable. It's not as a junior. Yeah,
it's not necessarily the most exciting sport.
No, but I think, look,
as a junior, it's not. Unless you've got people around your own age you're having fun with.
That's right. That's right.
As you said, that's the key. We need to get a group of them all having
playing
fun
together, and that's
expand from there.
100%. And I remember playing Friday pennants because I couldn't play Tuesday pennants due to school, so I'd play Friday nights.
Yeah.
And I'd play my bowls, then I'd go sit down on the bank and play with the grass. I had no one else to talk to. The ladies were a lot older than me.
Yeah.
So I think it would have been a lot more enjoyable playing with kids my own age.
Yeah.
So many distractions nowadays with all sorts of technology, other sports as well.
Yeah. I feel old saying that, but there wasn't that when I was a kid.
But obviously from me coming into it, there's Netflix now, there's all the social medias. You definitely need a community when it comes to a sport.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's definitely that.
So we'll move transition still back in your life away from bowls. We'll go back to that. What do you do outside of the sport? You don't have much time.
Of work.
Oh yeah, work to relax, to actually working when you can, of course.
Yeah, so I do work full time.
Yes.
I work as a chiropractor at 2 different practices in Perth, one in the Hills, one in Harrisdale.
So is that a uni 4-year?
5-year degree.
5-year degree.
Yeah, it's a long time. long time. So I guess I'm lucky because as a chiropractor, we don't work full day every day of the week. I might say work a full day Wednesday, half day Thursday like today. So I do have pockets of time where I can fit in things like my training. I don't really have a lot of relaxing time. Well, I don't make enough time for myself. But, you've got all the things to do at home, the cooking and the cleaning and the walking the dogs. And that's what I really fill my time up with, and seeing my friends when I can, spending time with my partner Marcus. So, yeah.
And I know you have 2 dogs?
Yes, 2 cavoodles, Milo and Obi.
Obi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't like Star Wars. That was Marcus's idea.
Oh, you put it on. Yeah. And they're all good, because I think last time we were at the BPO and one of them had to go to the vet. She
yeah, he ate all
ate
his
something.
ate his stuffed toys and was full with stuffed toys. And $2,000 later,
Jeez.
they got him to vomit it all up, so he was alright.
Well, that's
But yes,
okay.
they're good now. They're big grown-ups, so they
Grown
don't
up.
do naughty things like that anymore.
Well taught.
Yeah.
Well taught. So, what else we got?
You said a lot about your time and training. Can you tell us a bit about that at all? Is it quite intense? What kind of, is there anything interesting that happens?
Yeah. So obviously, as an Australian Jackaroo, we are expected to do on-green training, off-green training. The good thing about it is that it's all individualised, so not everyone has to follow a strict program because they understand everybody's bodies are different. Certain people have certain weaknesses they need to work on. You know, we all have different working schedules, so that's the great thing about it. I prefer to do strength training, so I go to the gym most days of the week, at least 4 times a week. I do, depending on the time of year and what competitions I have, it depends on how much training, on-green training I'll do. So, you know, prior to Com Games, I'd try and get out 2-3 times a week, just train on my own, do my own drills. And I worked, my training also involves my mental side of training, which is working with my sports psychologist at WAIS, the WA Institute of Sport, Courtney. So yeah, that's all involved in my training for bowls.
So it's like an app, isn't it? Is it like an app you've got to fill in?
What's that
Like the
for?
wellness reports and things like that?
Yeah, so that's another requirement of being a Jackaroo is that every week we've got a little app that's made by the AIS, and so it covers, you know, how many hours we spent training, how many hours we spent sleeping, sleep quality, nutrition quality, you know, anything we want to add in, any concerns or what we're grateful for that week.
Yes.
And there's lots of different things. It only takes 5 minutes to fill in, but it's just for the coaches, and I guess some of the selectors can see what we're up to, how we're feeling, and if there are any concerns, they can touch base with us. And yeah, it's just a good way of, I guess, keeping that communication going, considering we're all over Australia.
So I'll throw a name at you, and
Yeah.
first thing that comes to mind, Therese Hastings.
Yeah.
What comes to mind when...
Oh, she's one of my number one people in my life. She's made
Therese,
me.
if you're watching this.
She is, and that, I'm not just saying
Yes,
that.
no.
She really has made me who I am today.
Yeah.
As an athlete, she's been there from the beginning, from when I struggled to have that motivation to train and do my drills, and when I first wanted to kind of crack into the Australian squad. So she came along and trained with me, and, you know, she said many times, there was times we'd go out to Manning or wherever it was doing our drills, and, you know, I wasn't really concentrating and my scores were terrible, and I'd chuck it, and she'd be like, right, that's it, put your bowls away, let's go home, let's do this another day where you're concentrating, you know. So she's been through the ups and downs with me. She's, I guess, ridden that roller coaster with me, and she's still there, you know, when I need tips with my delivery or advice, or if I, you know, need anything, I know I can call her.
Because you've had lots of coaches from junior days.
Yeah.
And I think you learn something from every coach. It's either
Yes.
something good or something, well, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
At least you eliminate things.
Yeah.
So what qualities, I suppose, does Therese have, or
Yeah.
do you think a coach, now it's Gary Willis in the Australian thing, or Karen Murphy, what qualities do you think a coach should have in that respect to bring out the best in their players?
Yeah, the most important for me is honesty and transparency. I think coaches need to be honest with their players. We always talk about like a blanket approach, you know, which I don't think is helpful. I think it's, you know, helpful for them to say, look, you know, where our weaknesses are, what we're lacking in, what we need to work on, and just be really, just keep that honesty between the both of you, and trust that, you know, whatever they're telling you is coming out of the good, you know. They just want to make you better. They want to make you be the best player you can be. So I think that's the most important.
Do you have any key phrases or perhaps something a coach has said to you that you remember to this day, or you kind of think to yourself, yeah, fair enough, or yep, that gives me energy, or
not a certain phrase. One thing I think that I always remember is it would have been probably when Gary Willis, who's the Australian coach of the Jackaroos, got the position of coach following Steve Glasson. We were emailing back and forth and talking about comm games, and I'll never forget, I can't remember how he worded it, but he said to me, I want to see you in that team. I want to see you do that. You know, everything you've worked towards, make it happen. And I'll never forget that. And I think I always refer back to that, knowing that your coach, has faith in you, that you can do it. You know, he wanted to see me in there, and I did everything I could in that next year to make
You
it
have
happen.
been in the Australian squad for how long now?
8 years,
8 years?
maybe.
And you played a little bits and pieces, but
Yeah.
none of the major stuff.
No.
So the Commonwealth Games was pretty well your first
Major
major.
event, yeah.
Any time in that 8-year period, as you say, there's am I really going to make it? It's been that long now and they haven't picked me.
I think, I got included into the squad, I guess, at a difficult time, because the girls that were in the 5 were winning everything.
Yes.
They were the best female lawn bowls team in the world. They were winning Com Games medals, they were winning, World Bowls, everything, Trans-Tasmans. It was so hard to crack it. Even someone like Ellen Ryan, 1 year, who won 2 out of the 3 Australian Opens on the Gold Coast and runner-up, and she still didn't make the team for the Gold Coast Commonwealth Games team, but that just shows you how strong that 5 women were. So I guess I never did have that full confidence. I was happy being in the squad and trying to play in as much as I can, and I think I knew I wasn't ready at that time. I didn't feel like I leveled up the same level as those girls yet.
Yes.
And obviously there's been a couple of retirements, some of the girls having babies, so I thought this is my chance now, give everything I have. And being in the UK, different surface also, I feel like gave me a little bit more confidence that, it's a clean slate now.
So with that, like you were in the but early on in the BPL, the Perth Suns, and I got to play with you and then manage or coach, and I've certainly seen the growth of you from the first one. But is it because sometimes, due respect to the ladies, when they play against the good men, they do not necessarily play their natural game, but you, I think, did. You weren't intimidated by them. Did you feel confidence? Well, okay.
Maybe I didn't say it, but I did feel it.
Yes.
I definitely felt intimidated playing not only the men, but some of the greatest players in the world in that event, with and against. And I guess, again, it comes with that lack of confidence within myself. I'd always put myself below and kind of question, do I really deserve to be here? Am I as good as these players? But like you said, I guess the more I've grown throughout the years, I've learned to believe that I am good enough to be there.
Certainly,
and to trust in my
beforehand,
ability.
you always looked nervous.
Yeah, I'm always getting nervous.
And that's what I'm going to say, but you always get nervous, no matter what. And you're chatty and social and talking to people, and as you're trying to distract yourself.
Probably, yeah.
But once you hit the green,
Yeah.
you're a completely different Kristina Krstic.
Yeah.
You're focused.
Yeah.
Is that something you've had to learn to focus once you step on that green, or does that just come?
I think it just comes naturally, and with the nerves, like you say, for me, I need that.
Yes.
I need that little bit of nerve to get me going. Too much is not good.
No.
Too little is not good. Then I'm not concentrating. So
Yes.
I need that little bit of, the butterflies in my tummy before I start to really get me going, and I think that gets the best out of me. And that shows, it means something to me. Obviously, I want to do well. Yeah.
So I'll just find another name then. Obviously, you've already mentioned her, but Ellen Ryan.
My best friend.
Your best
Ellen
friend.
Ryan, the cowgirl from Goulburn.
Again, on the green, such intensely concentration.
Yeah.
Off the green, you two are mad and crazy.
How dare you say that? We are not.
What's the cowgirl? What's that?
Oh, she lives in Goulburn. It's a country town in New South Wales. She rides horses. She goes to
Right.
rodeos.
She got a street parade.
She got
Where was
a
your street?
buckle. You know,
She got a
shirts and
street parade?
jeans.
She got a street
Yeah,
parade. Where
she
was your
did.
street parade?
Oh, it's different. Goulburn's a small community. You know, and they're proud of her. It's different
So,
living
yes.
in Perth in a capital, you know, a city and a town. But I'm so happy for her. She deserved it.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
She's been knocking, as you say, knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Australian Opens after,
Mm,
year after year. So
yeah.
it was really good to see her succeed.
Yeah. She's worked
And-
really hard.
Take her opportunities, because I'm not sure who was it. Someone who usually plays the singles didn't play, which gave her the opportunity for singles. Is it Kelsey usually plays the singles quite often?
Yes,
Doesn't
yes.
mean she wasn't going to be
and
selected.
Karen beforehand.
Karen beforehand,
Yeah,
so
before
suddenly
she
an opening
retired.
came and she took it
Yeah.
with both hands.
Yeah.
So I suppose we've come back to the Commonwealth Games. Your fours wasn't as you would have liked as a team.
Mm,
Ellen won the singles,
yeah.
so she would have been on cloud 9.
Yes.
So how do you sort of match up?
Yeah.
Did you have to come to her level, or she's the one who picked you up?
So I'll talk you through after we lost. So we knew we had drawn a game, which we shouldn't have drawn. We dropped a 5 on the last end to Botswana to draw it. We then won against Fiji, I think it was, and then we needed to win against Scotland or have results go our way next door on the other rinks. And we lost. We fought hard. Scotland played extremely well. We came off the green, the other 2 rinks were still playing, and we were in with a chance. And then on the last end, I can't exactly remember what happened, but we missed out by 1 shot, I think it was. So we finished second. Third. Sorry.
Yep.
And that was just gut wrenching. I remember standing next to Gary and Karen, and obviously no one. We didn't know what to say. Karen just felt like this on my back, and the other 3 girls, I didn't know where they were. You know, everyone just kind of disappeared, and I was left there. You know, I guess on my own, and I didn't know what to do. You know, my first Com Games, I've just missed out on making a quarterfinal by 1 shot. You know, we fought our hearts out. I was just crushed, and I didn't know where to go. So I, just kind of wandered out, sat somewhere on my own, and finally got a glimpse of Tash, and she was standing at the front in tears. And we just kind of hugged, didn't say anything. Still didn't know where Beck and Linny were. Half an hour later, our para pairs were playing. So we went and supported them, of course, but everyone just sat quietly, didn't speak. Obviously everyone deals with this kind of thing differently.
So expectations were high, obviously.
Yeah,
So
they were.
that's another layer to it. It's not as if you were down there hoping to make finals. You would have been expecting certainly to make quarterfinals.
Yeah, I guess with a team like that, so it was really hard, and we went back to the village, and I had a chat to a couple of different people. I had a chat to Andy. He was working as our...
Andy Thompson?
Yeah, Andy Thompson. He was working with Bowls WA as our UK kind of... he was helping us, learn about the conditions and everything and prepare us for the UK Greens. Obviously, he's from there, and had a chat to him just to kind of debrief. And then I found Ellen Faulkner. She's the para coach, also from England. And we just sat outside, and I just cried on her shoulder, and I just needed someone there for me at that time. And she said, Chrissy, it's okay, let this all out now, because tomorrow you've got to refocus. It's the pairs now, you've got to put that behind you. You've still got another chance for a medal. Yes, it's okay to be upset, but you've just got to start from fresh. And went back in my room. Ellen was on a high, obviously. And she just looked at me and she said, I'm going to put this medal away. That's it. She put it away. She said, I'm going to get one for you. We're going to do this together. And that meant everything to me at that time, knowing that she wasn't just satisfied with her medal and thinking whatever happens now, doesn't matter. She really wanted to do that for me and for us. And it was really special. So it was a tough, really tough moment, but pulled through with the help of the coaches and, Ellen.
So it's
and my
about like a
friends.
day in between the events? Is that
No, we started the next
Next day.
day.
Not
It
even
was
Yeah.
in the morning as well, wasn't it? Was it the
Yeah, I
morning
think so,
Okay.
but there wasn't much
So
time. Yeah,
the
to
night
recoup.
yeah,
No.
okay. That's probably better in some
Yeah.
respect, just getting straight back on and
Yeah,
refocusing.
that's right. So yeah, I guess it was a lesson learned and knowing how everyone deals with things differently, and some people need time. Some people like me need people to talk to. I need to let it out. You know, I can't just sit there in silence. So
Yeah.
I think that helped me get over it and refocus.
So a lot of support staff around you with Gary and obviously Karen leading the show. But Ellen, who's been there before,
Yes.
would have helped a lot.
Yeah. At Ellen Faulkner.
Ellen Faulkner.
Yeah, and she's been through the highs and the lows.
Yes.
She's won gold
She has
medals.
the same.
She's missed out on gold medals, so she knows. Yeah, it's good to hear it from someone who's experienced it before.
So you start the next day again. I can't remember. Do you cruise through the section?
The first game was
Third
tough. We had 3 games in the section.
Yes.
First game was really tough against. Now it's just gone from me. Not Botswana. Can't remember. It'll come to me later. But we were neck and neck for the first half of the game, then got away and won by a few in the end. Next game, I think we played Canada. I think we won 40 to something. Ellen and I were just on fire together. We couldn't do anything wrong, and it was just felt good. You know, we vibed so well together. We know each other's game, and we just got the hang of the green from the first game. So really played well in that second. That gave us that shot advantage as well. And then we won the last game. God, I should have. Now you put me on the spot. I can't remember. But we won. We won all the games in the section.
You text me later.
Wales, and that was a good game too. Two very quality opposition. And we know those girls as well. It was a close game, but we won that as well. So 3 out of 3, and we topped our section. Yeah.
So when I've just stepped back slightly in selection, I haven't seen you play all the time, but in pairs when you play with Ellen, do you usually play the other way?
Yeah. So I normally skip.
You usually skip?
Yes.
So the selectors explain why they put you that way?
Yeah. So Ellen was really stressed when she saw. When we first saw the teams come out on Workplace, we use it's like a Facebook, but we use it for the Jackaroos. She said they put that around the wrong way. I can't be skipping. You can't be leading. I said no, I'm leading. I'm happy with that. I'm leading in the forward, so I'm happy. She goes, no, I don't want to skip. You know, because we've never played that way.
No.
I guess she just didn't feel comfortable. And I remember going away for Trans-Tasman and chatting to Kaz and Gary. And she was really concerned. She wanted them to swap it. She didn't want to play in that combination that way. And they said, you know, from her, I guess she was playing singles. So she's playing all those shots, the drives, the up shots. I was just playing fours, just drawing.
Yep.
Different surface as well, just because we play me skippering and Ellen leading in Australia doesn't mean that, you know, it's always going to work that way on a different surface in England. So I guess once we talked through those things, I think she kind of settled and had a couple of conversations about it. But it took a while to convince her that it was going to be okay with her skipping and me leading.
So the selection teams don't always get a lot of wins, but obviously that will be a big win for them. Doing something that was different to what everyone probably expected.
But we
if
trust,
that was the combination, it was going to be the other way.
I trusted them, and I know, you know, when I get in the groove and I'm comfortable and I've got the feel, you know, I just got to think to myself, all I'm doing is drawing. I'm just drawing. That's all I got to do. Set up the head for Ellen, you know, and that was my task for her, and I wasn't stressed about it. And I know she can hit. She can play all the shots in the book. I had no doubt at all with that combination.
So you've gone through the sectional.
Yeah.
And through the other knockouts as well to the final. In what probably, from what I saw, one of the best finals of the Commonwealth Games in bowls wise. Did it feel like that at the time? Did it feel like this is a really good game?
Yeah, it did. Even when we were 11-2 down, I still didn't feel stressed because we were only not even halfway through the game yet. It was 18 ends. I knew we were both playing well, you know, and Amy was, so were
So
our
were they,
opposition,
yes.
but Amy was converting a lot. So we knew we were getting them in there, and we kept saying, like, it's going to change, it's going to turn, she's going to miss at some point, she's not going to just keep getting this every end after end. And finally she started missing those few shots. We didn't really change the length.
No.
We just kept the length the same the whole game because we were playing well at their length. They were just, you know, converting with one bowl or, you know, making things happen. So finally it turned, and from then, the whole game, from memory, and watching it back, obviously, it's the best game of bowls I've been a part of.
And the final bowl,
Yes.
the discussion, you take us into the discussion you had with Karen.
It wasn't really there was no discussion. Kaz just went to Ellen, which means rip it out, and that was it. And I just said to her, you got this, I know you can do this, or something like that. Yeah. And she tells me that's the last thing she remembers in her head when she was on the mat, knowing that I had faith in her that she was going to get it. And she said, I had no doubt on that mat. And she's the best person that could have been on that mat playing that bowl. She's just the most cool, calm and collected person ever. If it was me, I probably would have dropped my bowl and then the game would have been over.
And so from the hand, did you like it from the hand?
Yeah, I wasn't sure because as soon as you go...
Because of that angle.
Yeah. In the UK, as soon as you go off the centre line, which the jack was obviously off centre, the green is unpredictable. It's bumpy, it's furrier, so it's slower out there. You just don't know if it hits something on the green, it takes off. So I had to wait to that last moment. I wasn't sure, but when she ran halfway down the green, it just went, Chrissy! And she never yells out.
No.
She's very quiet normally. That was it. I knew she'd had it, and it was, best moment of my life. Lucky I can replay it over and over.
So, did you see some of the, I know there was some celebrations.
Yeah.
I think Mount Lawley Bowling Club took a picture
Oh,
of them.
I loved that. Yeah.
So did you see all those?
I did, yeah. I had a couple of those videos sent to me, people celebrating in their living rooms or at bowls clubs, and it's so special.
So if you haven't seen it, bowls people, then you should see the final. Because finals aren't always the best games during the tournament, but this was clearly one of the best ones that you can see. So if you haven't seen it, you should definitely go see it.
Yeah, good. I really like coming. Obviously, since I don't play bowls, I really like how much support and how much influence the people around you had in winning that. Because you explain all of the things people have said, how they've supported you in those moments, and the actual impact that's had. When I look at bowls in particular, you know, you are on that mat. It looks like you're by yourself, but the way you explain it, you're surrounded by a whole community, a whole team, and it's almost as if there's more than just you on that mat. Yeah. So that's really, really nice to kind of hear how you explain that experience.
Yeah, and not only that, like we could hear our Aussies in the crowd, you know, amongst all these English people. They were our yellow, you know, had yellow t-shirts on, just a small pocket of our Aussies, and they were louder than anyone else there, you know, and that's all we could hear, and that gives you more confidence and more fire in your belly to do it, not just for yourselves or for your country, to do it for them as well, you know, supporting you.
So, just for maybe the people maybe starting the game or watching through, just some of the things that you do, like how do you get your grasp on? Just we'll go technical. Back to basics, exactly. We've gone from the high of what the result is, but how do you actually, how do you get your grasp on? Just the basic grasp line and weight.
So this is a bit weird, but it changes, and I don't know why it changes. But sometimes I will look, most of the time I look on the bank, so on the backboard, where my line is, so I'll pick something, whether it's a line or, you know, a pole or something like that. Sometimes I actually look on the green, you know, not right where the jack level with the jack, but just a little bit closer to me. I'll just point on a green where I kind of want my arc to be.
So even when you pick something on the bank, do you bring it back to that point, or do you still have that bank point?
No.
If you pick something on the bank, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's hard because sometimes you don't think about these things.
Exactly. I think maybe a few years ago, it was with Dennis Katunet. She asked me how they were doing. I said, I don't know, just do it.
You just do it.
You just do it. And he said, and I think I'm pretty sure he said, well, that's good because that means you can be a pretty good player if you just do it.
Yeah.
If you're thinking too much in
Maybe
your
not a
head.
good coach, but you are a coach.
Exactly. Did she say I wasn't a good coach? Did I hear that?
Well, you explain it to people.
But so well, you can say it more than I can about how you get your line. I don't know. I see the line. It's in my head.
I can't say though when I use one and when I use the other. I don't know. I think when I am playing on a green that's got to take a lot of grass like UK, I think mostly I look at the bank. Yeah, but I don't know.
Did anyone ever, coaches ever try and discourage you from looking at the bank?
Never. No.
So how do you get your weight?
Well.
Okay, maybe how do you get your
That's a
if
hard
you're,
question.
Exactly. If you're long or if maybe you're 6 foot long, 8 foot long in the first one, do you try and adjust or you just say, well, I just got it wrong.
It's
I
just
know what I'm
feel,
doing, so I'll just draw the jack again.
Yeah. I think it's just you feel it, you know. It's hard to say. The weight's a really hard one. It depends. If it's the other way around and I'm short, normally it's because I've jumped up or I've dropped my bowl. So then I try and correct on that.
So do you know exactly? Do you know that? Do you need someone to tell you?
Not all of the time, but most of the time I pick up that I've dropped that bowl or I've quickly jumped up. I should have stayed down and I pulled up a metre or so short. It's mostly just feel, you know.
So
you feel it off your fingertips.
So with your coaches, was your dad your first coach? Sort of? Not really. He just showed you what to do.
Yeah,
showed you what to do.
Show me what to do.
So that's basically it. He just told you pick something out there.
We're going back here 18
I
years
know. I know. It's good, isn't it?
I honestly can't remember. Sorry.
People
I've
out
actually got a really bad memory.
there. No, you don't. No, you don't. Okay, so what is your? We're not going to go to your weaknesses because that gives it away to your opposition. But what are your strengths? We don't want your opposition
Do I want them to know that?
No. What's the What do you think you do better than others?
I will say my weaknesses used to be long ends, but they're not anymore.
That's
Ever since
big Australian push for the long ends.
Yeah, and I guess playing UK, long ends don't feel as hard now. You know what I mean? Like because in the UK, tee to tee, you are hurling them up there.
Yes.
So I know I can do that. I can change my technique or whatever if I need to. So it used to be long ends, but I'm not so bad at that now. But I think my strength would probably short ends. Short ends. I think everyone knows that.
Do they?
Maybe man up. Jack of the ditch.
Yeah, no. When we go to BPL Moama, we're doing that. And you're leading the charge.
That's what I would say probably. And I do like mid-pace greens. So good, nice 15-second green, little bit of turn.
So the bowlers looking to improve. What do you think they have to, if they want to take the next step, whether that's the next step in the next division or maybe state bowls?
Yeah.
What do you think they need to? What game do they need? I would say consistency.
Yeah.
Eliminating the bad bowl.
Yeah, eliminating the loose bowls. Obviously, like eliminating short bowls is your biggest. Every coach will tell you that they're ineffective. Practice is the biggest number one rule.
How would you practice? What would you do? Just constantly attempt to draw?
Well, practice your weaknesses for one, and practice your strengths. But you want to have a purpose. This is something Therese Hastings always says as a coach. Don't just go out there and just bowl end after end, just drawing to the jack. You're not going out there with a purpose, trying to achieve something.
Yeah.
Go out there, do a drill. If I'm not playing well long ends, I might do 40 bowl drill, which most people would know what that is, or jack and 2 bowl drill, where I'm drawing to the jack, tee to tee, and scoring myself and trying to better it every time I get out there. Having to get within a mat's length and be hard on yourself. Don't just give yourself one if you're that far out. That doesn't count. Yeah. So you got to try and be better every time you get out there. I think setting goals is one of the biggest things. Set short-term and long-term goals. Visualize what you want to achieve. What do you want to win? you want to win the state singles, maybe print out, a picture of the state singles trophy and stick it on your wall, or at work, put it somewhere you can see it every day. Like, that's what Ellen and I did for Com Games. We printed out all these quotes and printed out the gold medal that we knew, the actual Birmingham gold medal. And we stuck it on our wall and looked at it every day and read all the quotes. You have to, I guess.
I presume you still do that now, but with the real thing.
With what, sorry?
The
real thing, yeah. I've actually got it here today, you want to see it?
Yes, you can definitely show that off.
But you've really got to visualise it to make it happen and set those goals and time frames. I think that's really important as well.
I think that's some really good advice.
Yeah. So here's one.
Have a look.
Okay. So this is the box, which is very nice. And then that's the medal. So it comes in this cool little case.
Do you bring that with you a lot of the time, or
no,
have a
because I
special
don't
spot
want to
for
lose
it?
it. This is really strange, but Ellen and I keep it in our undie drawers.
Okay, you can't
because
let
if we
that
got it's in the box, clean undies. Because if we got burgled, no one's going to look in your undie drawer.
Well, they are now. You're going to have to change
Yeah,
positions.
you have to.
But it's more just, people say, oh, do you want to frame it one day? I'll frame it now. And I said, not really, because I like to show out, show people my medal. And obviously with years to come, I'd still like to do that, show my kids one day. And I think maybe later on in life I'll frame it. But for now, I just keep it in a safe place. So no one knows where it is.
Well, it's a new place starting today.
Well, thank you for showing us that. And I think that's about time, I reckon. So thank you very much for coming, for being the first guest here to start off the podcast. It's an absolute pleasure. You've gone through a lot of stuff there for us. So yeah, thank you. We'll just go through a couple of things. So we will be doing a mailbag. So you can email in. I will put it up on the screen. For those that aren't watching but are actually listening, I will also put it in as a little cut at the end. Hey everyone, this is just a quick edit for those that are listening. If you're interested in joining in part of the mailbag, feel free to send an email at podcast@bowlswa.com.au. That's podcast@bowlswa.com.au. Now that's for anything related to guests perhaps you want to see on, or questions, or any funny stories you want for us to discuss in the next podcast. Just make sure that there's a subject when you send that email through. If there's no subject, it won't be read. And make sure that you put podcast guest if it's a suggestion, or podcast story if it's a story, and so forth. Thank you. Well, on top of that, feel free to comment if you have any particular guests that you want to see on, any questions for the future guest. It will be announced who's coming up next. I believe it might be Doug Kelly, so we'll have a look at that. But yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me.
Thank you so much
thanks for being on the first episode.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. I feel very honoured and humbled. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Holding Shot podcast. You can subscribe on all your usual podcast platforms, or find us on YouTube under Bowls WA. For more Bowls related content, head to our website at bowlswa.com.au, or follow us on social media at Instagram or Facebook under Bowls WA. Until next time, good bowling everyone.